Welcome back. In this video, we will discuss about the other cell organelles like nucleus, mitochondria and plastids. So first of all, we will discuss about nucleus. What is a nucleus? It is the most important cell organelle present in the cell. So why I am calling it as a most important? Because all the cellular functions and all the functions of other cellular organelles are controlled by nucleus. That's why we are called nucleus as a master cell organelle also. We can call nucleus as a master cell organelle because it controls and directs all cellular functions of a cell. So that's why we are calling as a master control cell organelle. So while we are studying about nucleus, firstly we have to know about its structure. We have to know about the structure of nucleus. For example, already we discussed about the difference between prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. So if it is a prokaryotic cell and if it is a eukaryotic cell, so what is the difference? In prokaryotic cell, the genetic material is not enclosed by the nuclear membrane, but here the genetic material is enclosed by a nuclear membrane. So this is the main difference with respect to nucleus of a cell between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about the structure of eukaryotic nuclei. So first of all, in center the nucleus contains genetic material. It contains genetic material in the form of DNA, and it is surrounded by a double layered membrane. It is surrounded by a double layered membrane, which is not a continuous, it is a discontinuous membrane. See here, there are two layers, but all the layers are not continuous. It is a discontinuous membrane by leaving a small pores. So what are those? Those pores are known as perinuclear spaces. And this is double layered nuclear membrane. And this is a cell. Okay, understanding. Now the fluid like substance present inside the nuclear membrane. The fluid like substance present inside the nuclear membrane, that is known as nucleoplasm. And the fluid like substance present outside the nuclear membrane and inside the plasma membrane, that is cytoplasm. So both cytoplasm and nucleoplasm together called as protoplasm. Okay. Now some dark stained regions inside the nucleus, dark colored stained regions inside the nucleus are called as nucleoli or nucleolus. So the number of nucleolus is differ from cell to cell. In one cell it may be 1, or in other types of cells it may be 2, 3 or 4, like that. So the number, it changes from cell to cell. So we will see what is the function of nuclear membrane, what is the significance of perinuclear spaces, what is the significance of nucleoplasm, and what is the significance of nucleolus, and what is the significance of genetic material, that is DNA, one by one. So this is about the structure of nucleus. So the nucleus is surrounded by a double layered membrane, that is nuclear membrane, which is having pores. Those are perinuclear pores inside the fluid material called as nucleoplasm, and here we have genetic material. So one by one we will see and we will discuss the functions. See here, the nuclear membrane is giving a shape or protection to genetic material by acting as a barrier between cytoplasm and inside the cell. That means it is not allow all the substances into the nucleus. So by acting as a barrier, this is all cytoplasm, and all the materials cannot enter into the nucleoplasm. So here the genetic material will be protected, and it is acting as a barrier between cytoplasm and nucleoplasm. That is about nuclear membrane. And here we are having spores. These are known as perinuclear pores. So what is the function of that? If the nuclear membrane is completely surrounded, then there is complete stoppage, or there is no transport of materials which are required for some processes that has to travel from inside the nucleus to outside, and some substances has to enter into the nucleus. So what are they? We will see. Some hormones like steroid hormones like estrogen, which are most important for women reproductive system, female reproductive system, estrogen, progesterone. These hormones will function only when they reach into the nucleus. So for this, they are coming from outside of the cell, and they will function, they will activate only when they enter into nucleus. And protein manufacturing. How the proteins are manufactured? Do you know that? The proteins are manufactured through the process of transcription and translation. These two processes are explained by a theory, that is central dogma. What is this theory is telling about? So what is that? First of all, DNA, genetic material, it will gives mRNA, and from mRNA we will get proteins. So it is a very big process. So all the complicated process was explained by simply this equation. This is known as central dogma. The production of mRNA from DNA, this process is known as transcription. This is occur at nucleus. Okay, and the mRNA to proteins, this process is known as translation. So where it will occur? It will occur in cytoplasm. See here the diagram. Here from DNA it will produce some mRNAs. mRNA is nothing but messenger RNA. Here from DNA mRNA will be formed, and this mRNA through the nuclear pores it will enter into cytoplasm, and in cytoplasm we have ribosomes. Ribosomes are also known as, ribosomes is also a type of cell organelle which is helpful in protein synthesis. So they will reach to ribosomes, mRNA will reach to ribosome, and their proteins will be formed. So for the transport of mRNA from nucleoplasm to cytoplasm, we need some pore-like structures. So those are perinuclear spaces through which the mRNA from nucleoplasm enters into cytoplasm and synthesizes proteins. So that is the significance of perinuclear spaces. Okay, and this is the most important theory, the central dogma. And here we have nucleolus. Here we have nucleolus. The nucleolus are dark stained regions. These are dark stained regions which helps in the synthesis of ribosomes. Just now we discussed about ribosomes. What are ribosomes? They are the protein synthesizing cell organelles. How nucleolus is helpful in the synthesis of ribosomes? By synthesizing ribosomal RNA. So nucleolus prepares or synthesizes ribosomal RNA, and that will transfers to cytoplasm, and there ribosomes will be synthesized. So this is one of the most important function of nucleolus. Okay, and now coming to genetic material. That is DNA in the nucleus. Okay, so what is a DNA and what is its functions, what is its structure, what it is made up of, we will see in the chapter biomolecules. There we will discuss carbohydrates, proteins, everything in detail. But for time being, here I will give a brief introduction about DNA. DNA is a genetic material which carries some information. DNA carries some information from generation to generation. That means DNA is nothing but it is a chemical substance which stores some information. For example, we can assume that we have some characters from our father, from our mother, from our elders, forefathers. So what are those, how it is carrying from one generation to one generation? So during reproduction, in the formation of male and female gametes, some genes or some copies of the genetic material entered from father, and some copies of the genetic material entered from mother, and they will fuse together and forms zygote. So the zygote, 90% of that zygote has the genetic material from father and mother. So we are sharing their characters, and again we will transfer those characters to our next offsprings or new generations. So it is a chemical compound, and normally the DNA is double stranded and helical structure. This structure was given by scientists Watson and Crick. Double-stranded helical structure. This structure was given by Watson and Crick. Double-stranded and they are helical in nature. Okay, and this genetic material is present inside the nucleus. And for example, if you take out the DNA and spread it over, it is about the most amazing thing. It is about 2 meters long. 2 meter long. But see, this 2 meter long DNA, how it fits into a cell. For example, with our naked eye, we cannot see a cell. And imagine, we cannot see the nucleus. But inside that nucleus, how this 2 meter long DNA was fit into that. That is due to a different proteins. Those are histone proteins. For example, see here, I had given you this much space, and if I asked you to put a wire in that, for example, if you put like that, a wire from here to here, this is only 1 meter long, we can fit if you kept like this. But if you use somewhat intellectual property from your brain, and if you put the wire like this, that means here you can fit at least 3 meter long wire. So due to arrangement also, we can put or we can fit more substances in a particular space. But here this was done by a special proteins, that is histone proteins. For example, normally the DNA is like this, and these histone proteins, how they are helpful in compaction means proteins are there, histone proteins, and this DNA will come and wraps around these proteins like this. So here, for example, 2 meter DNA, if it is wraps around the histone proteins, it is reduced to very micro level. So many histone proteins are there. And one more thing you have to think, why histones are there and why DNA is there and why it is surrounding to histones only. Why DNA is getting wrapped around histones only. That means here we have to know the common basic point, that is positive opposite charges attract each other and the same charges repel. The same phenomena applies here. The DNA, due to presence of phosphate group in their structure, it is exhibiting negative charge, and histone proteins, due to presence of positive charge in some amino acids like lysine, it is exhibiting positive charge. So automatically there will be attraction between positive and negative charges. So that's why the negative charged DNA is wrapped around the positive charge histone molecules. So it is more compressing each other and more compacted form will be formed. So that's why 2 meter long DNA is fit into unseen nucleus. That means a small sized nucleus, small sized cell, and the DNA is 2 meter long. So how it is fit? That is due to histone proteins. Okay. Now this structure, DNA plus histones, this association we will call as chromatin. Chromatin. If histones are not there, that is only DNA or genetic material. So what is the difference between the organization of genetic material between prokaryotes and eukaryotes? In prokaryotes, only DNA, histones are absent. In eukaryotes, DNA is wrapped along the length of histones. So here histones are present. So this is the difference between the prokaryotic genetic material and eukaryotic genetic material. And the functions of the genetic material is, as I told you, that each and every protein of our body is synthesized by the message given by the nucleus. If the nucleus will not send the message, the proteins are not manufactured. If the proteins are not manufactured, we cannot form this much body, because as you know that proteins are the building blocks of a body, and each and every character, this much height, that is a character, color, it is a character, how much time we have to sleep, and how our body, each and every organelle, each and every organ of our body contains cells, and it is controlled by nucleus. Why? Because DNA is controlling each and every function of our body. So that much important role is played by the nucleus. If the cell does not have nucleus, it cannot function properly. Okay, and here again we have some exceptions. Some cells do not have nucleus. For example, RBC, red blood cells. During the early stages of the red blood formation of red blood cells, it has nucleus. But in matured RBC, we don't have nucleus. Matured RBC, nucleus is absent. This one you have to remember. Okay. This is the about the structure of the nucleus and the function of nucleus. Now we will move towards mitochondria. Mitochondria. Here, first of all, it is one of the most important cell organelle, and the difference between mitochondria and plastids is it is synthesizing the food material. It is synthesizing the food material. It is, mitochondria is breaking down the food molecule. It is breaking down the food molecules and liberates energy. Understanding the difference? It is manufacturing the food material, but that food material is complex structure. So that complex structure is breaking down by the mitochondria, and then only it will release energy. So this is the difference between mitochondria and plastids. Now we will see the structure of mitochondria. The mitochondria is also a double membrane structure. Double membraned structure. So here one thing I want to say, you have to write all the double membrane cell organelles at one place, single membrane cell organelles at one place, and no membrane, the cell organelle which is not surrounded by any membrane, at one place. So anything they can ask, which of the following is double membrane cell organelle, which of the following cell organelle does not have cell membrane, or it doesn't have a membrane. Okay, so they can ask like that. So you have to prepare a chart, or at the end of this topic I will give you a list of cell organelles which are enclosed by how many layers. Okay, this is mitochondria is a double membrane. This is the outer membrane. This is the outer membrane, And the inner membrane is, again, in the previous topic in nucleus I discussed about, we can fit 3 meters of wire in the space. If we kept like this, if we kept the wire like this, we can keep only 1 meter. Here 3 meters. The same phenomena here it applies. It has to accommodate more molecules. It has to accommodate more enzymes, more proteins. So for that purpose, this the inner part of the mitochondria or inner membrane is folded structure. See here, this is the outer membrane and this is the inner membrane. This is the inner membrane. Okay, so the inner membrane is folded like structure. So these foldings are called as cristae. The foldings of the inner membrane are called cristae. Okay, and the space between outer membrane and inner membrane called as intermitochondrial space. Intermitochondrial space. Getting? And inside the inner membrane, it is also a fluid filled substance or fluid filled space. So that is known as matrix. That is known as matrix. See here, why it is arranging like that? Why the inner membrane is arranging in a folded manner? Because now it has to accommodate more number of proteins here, more number of enzymes like this. If the membrane is like this, we can accommodate only, for example, 100 molecules, protein molecules. But if it is in a wrapped manner or in a folded manner, we can accommodate at least 1000 molecules. See what is the difference here? 100 and 1000. 10 times it is increasing. So for accommodating more substances, the inner membrane is folded. This is the structure of mitochondria. And what is its function? The function of mitochondria is liberating energy. Liberating energy. So that's why we are calling mitochondria also as powerhouse of the cell. Nowhere else in the cell or no other cell organelle is involved in energy liberation. Only mitochondria, 95% of the energy liberated, that is liberated by the mitochondria. Okay, so it is liberating the energy in the form of ATP. These are the molecules which have energy. Getting? ATP means adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. So these are also known as energy currency. So what is currency? The notes, 100 rupees notes, 500 rupees notes, like that. But here the currency, this is energy currency. So that is in the form of ATP. It is liberated by breakdown of food molecules. Breakdown of food molecules. For example, if you have taken glucose, so that glucose is C6H12O6 glucose. So here the glucose itself cannot give us energy. It is a complex substance. Starch, it is also a complex substance. So all the complex substances are breakdown by different processes in the cell. Those processes are glycolysis, oxidative phosphorylation, Krebs cycle, So we will discuss in higher classes what are these. What is glycolysis, what is oxidative phosphorylation, and what is Krebs cycle. And after that, the molecules enter into electron transport system, electron transport chain or system. Then finally, the number of ATP molecules will be released and then gives energy. Getting? So if a complex substance has to enter all these process, and finally it will liberate energy in the form of ATP molecules. So all these process, that mainly the electron transport chain or system and the Krebs cycles are occurred in the mitochondria. Getting? So this is how we are calling mitochondria as a powerhouse of the cell. So because it is involved in the process of liberation of energy. Okay, this is about mitochondria. It is a double membrane structure. And now, mitochondria is also known as semi-autonomous cell organelle. So what is semi-autonomous? That means most of its function it can perform on its own. Not all, mostly it can perform its own functions. Nucleus is an autonomous. It can perform its own functions and it can perform or it can controls all the functions. That is autonomous. Okay, and here semi-autonomous means mostly its some of the functions are performed by its own. Why? Because mitochondria also has its own DNA, its own protein machinery, etc. So that's why it is performing its own functions without all the signals coming from a nucleus. It will ultimately nucleus will control the function, but mostly it will perform its own functions. It will generate its own signals. So that's why we are calling as mitochondria as semi-autonomous cell organelle. Okay. Now, one of the most important cell organelle is plastids. So what are plastids? It is also a double membrane structure. Double membraned structure or cell organelle. Double membrane cell organelle. So in plastids there are three types. First one is chloroplasts and second one is chromoplasts and third one is leucoplasts. So what are those? What is a chloroplast? What is a chromoplast? And what is a leucoplast? And chloroplasts are green colored cell organelles. It is having green colored pigments. It is also a colored cell organelle, but other than green. These are colorless plastids. These are green color due to presence of green color pigments. These are also colored but other than green color, red, orange, yellow, like that. And leucoplasts, these are colorless plastids. So individually, what are their functions, what are their structures, we will see. Now, first one is chloroplasts. These are also double membraned structure in which we have a coin-like arrangement, one by one on the other. The The coins are arranged like a pile. These are attached. See here, these are known as thylakoids. This is outer membrane and this is inner membrane. So these are double membrane structures. So these thylakoids have a pigments like chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C and chlorophyll D. All these are green color pigments, but it varies from plant to plant. Some plants have A, some plants have B, some plants have C and others have D. But almost all are similar in structure, only minute differences in their molecular formulas. All are green color pigments. Okay, these pigments helpful in trapping the solar energy and converting the solar energy into chemical energy. So how it is? For example, the plant, so it is involved in the process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis means the preparation of food by the plants by using solar energy. So here, what are the reactants? What are the substrates? 6 CO2 plus 6 water molecules in the presence of sunlight, and in the chlorophyll pigment, by using chlorophyll pigment, it is manufacturing C6H12O6, that is glucose, and gives 6 oxygen molecules. This is the reaction for photosynthesis. See here, ultimately the chemical energy is formed from the light energy. Light energy, and this is chemical energy. Understanding? So these reactions are occurred in the chloroplasts, and ultimately the chloroplasts are the source of preparation of food. And if the chloroplasts are not there in the plants, they cannot synthesize their food. If plants cannot synthesize their food, how we can survive? Ultimately, each and every animal depend upon the plants for food. Getting? So we are all dependent on plants, and plants are indirectly depend upon the sunlight. See, everything is linked. So this link is also we can discuss in a food chain or food web. Okay, here the green color pigments are chlorophylls. These are helpful for the trapping of chemical energy, and the plant can synthesize food by using the light energy. Okay, this is about chloroplasts. And the second type of cell organelle, that is chromoplasts. These are also colored cell organelles, colored plastids, but other than green, that is yellow, orange and red. These colors will come due to the presence of pigments like carotenoids plus xanthophylls. For example, we can observe a carrot that is orange color. That is due to the presence of carotenoids. Beetroot, that color you can know. So that color is due to the presence of a special type of carotenoid pigments. And different fruits are different color, and different flowers have different colors of petals. So how those attractive colors are formed, that is due to the presence of different types of carotenoids and xanthophylls. Okay, so it is a colored plastids other than the green color. So mostly these are present in petals and fruits. Okay, and finally the other cell organelle or other type of plastids, those are known as leucoplasts. These leucoplasts are the plastids which have only one type of function, that is storage of food materials. Storage of food materials. So again, leucoplasts are three types. Amyloplasts, eleoplasts, and eleuroplasts. So what are those? Amyloplasts are the plastids or the leucoplasts which stores carbohydrates like starch in potato. In this potato starch is stored, that is stored in a type of plastids. Those are amyloplasts. And eleoplasts, these stores fats and lipids like in oil grains. And eleuroplasts which stores proteins like in pulses. These are about the leucoplasts. Amyloplasts stores carbohydrates, eleoplasts store fats and lipids, and eleuroplasts stores proteins. So this is about plastids: chloroplasts, chromoplasts, and leucoplasts. So in the next video, we will discuss about other cell organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, lysosomes, Golgi apparatus, etc. Thank you.